Hey, hey, hey. Today I want to talk about the power of our word. The power of our word. Growing up, there was this saying, our word is our bond. It's what binds us to our own commitments. It is what binds us to other people. It bonds us together. It's a glue. But most importantly, it's a glue to our own self. And that's what I want to speak to today, even though we use that in external places. When I was a teacher, I used that a lot in my career. I grounded myself on, is this going to help, hurt, or hinder my students? What would I say to my students? Is it going to help them, hurt them, or hinder them? And I really try to stay in that space of help. Is this going to help them progress towards whatever the goal is that we're trying to get to? As a teacher, the type of teacher that I was, family consumer science, life skills, home ec, most of our lessons, or really all of them, were very practical. And I love that, very, hands-on learning. So how can I help them apply this not only to their life, but to their home life? And their profession, their future life, their future self. But there were many times as a teacher, I had to work with young ladies around conflict and conflict resolution. We would have these things called circles, and we go to my prayer closet in my classroom. And so for these spaces, it was very important, and I was very intentional. And just as a teacher, is this conversation going to help, hurt, or hinder? Are my words going to help this situation, hurt, or hinder? I always, again, want to stay in that space of helping. Now, the key to that piece, I believe, is understanding the environment that you're in. Oftentimes, we're in environments that contributes to thought processes and energies that does not align with helping. It's not nourishing a positive environment. There's a big thing on observing something versus absorbing. Don't absorb other people's energy, and then you're taking that, and now you're projecting something that's not helping the situation. If you're around people that are negative and they want to use negative words, negative energy, you're going to have to kind of sit and observe it. Do not absorb other people's negative words or negative energy for yourself. It's a challenge. It's ongoing. I'm still in that process, but that's one thing I definitely did early on, especially in my classroom. I didn't hang out in the teacher's classroom, teacher's lounge. Everybody knows most people in the teacher lounge, they're on the verge or brink of quitting. They're in there gossiping, or they need to maybe retire, but they want to tell you all about the student that you're about to have, all about their bad days. I personally safeguarded my mind. I was not there for that. I just was not there for that. So for me, again, understanding the environment, I'm going to my classroom. You can take it home. You can take it to friendships. But reality is we only have two main places we spend most of our time in our 20s. This channel is dedicated to young ladies in their 20s. And that is in our career, our work environment, and our home family life. And you can include in relationships, home, family is relationships. So if you're dating or married, those are the two areas that we spend most of our time. So is this conversation going to help, hurt, or hinder? We know what hurt feels like. That's saying something that we're going to maybe hopefully have to apologize for. I made many apologies in my life. I'm going to have many more. It does not mean we have a perfect conversation, but really, again, creating some principles around communicating. If you never read The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz, it's a great book on communication. It's just some agreements that you can, again, life is about creating principles. I'm really big on words. I love to express myself through words, but not only expressing ourselves through words, but being able to use words as a light. If you look at lives and look at spaces where people are inspired, they are using words. And oftentimes places where there's division and things are being torn apart, people are also using words. So we're here to help. We're here to heal, and we're here to nurture each other, one word at a time, one action at a time, and most importantly, our own selves. So back to the help, hurt, or hinder. Hurting is a very easy space to go to, although it does not reap rewards. It does not bring us the fruit that we want out of life. Hurt people. So do not use hurtful words towards other people that you love. If you're in a career environment, someone says something to you, go within, as challenging as it is, and understand this is not my battle to fight. That's their own inner war with themselves. And then hinder. I think hindering is a space that people don't realize we're in. Many people are stuck in environments or in spaces where I call it a loop. It's a very common, it's very common for conversations. People just looping. They're just going in circles. They're not moving forward in how they speak to each other. They're not moving forward in how they're helping whatever process that's supposed to be there. Once we get everything out on the table, what's next? At that point, we're just stuck, or we're hindering the progress that we're trying to make. And in my classroom, that was very important to me. having conversations. Again, I would take some commercial breaks, but again, back to the subject, back to the point. So aligning yourself with these 3 principles, if you're challenged in this area of communication, I think will help. It really helped me. Again, asking myself, is this helping the situation, hurting the situation, or is it hindering the situation? And I do want to say, to the help context, the type of understanding your communication style, I do understand I'm more of the direct type of communication style, assertive. That's who I am. That's how I choose to communicate. It works for me. Everybody's communication style is different, but one thing we can all say, we can put them in the category, does this help? I recently told a friend, and it was the first time I ever told him, and I've thought this for years, but it was just opened up. I told her, I said, you have been the smartest person in the room way too long, for too many years. And one person may say, she didn't take offense to it at all because she's has confidence. You know, to me, speaking in an assertive way, speaking direct. And again, there are times when we all take things personal. I most definitely have been sensitive in situations, but overall, understanding your communication style, how you like to communicate, be able to receive it. If you're an assertive person, people are going to probably be assertive back to you. Make sure that you're understanding that. And even though they're assertive, doesn't mean that it's true what they're saying, or you have to listen to it, or I would say absorb it. You need to listen, but absorbing it and making it true to you, that's a choice. It's intentional. So understanding your communication style, where you need to strengthen. For me, I definitely knew, because I don't have a problem expressing myself, but learning to listen more, learning to understand the other person's perspective, learning to understand their background, learning to trust them in this conversation. This conversation, my students, was so important. Like, there are many teachers that would, oh, you have this person X, Y, Z. And I was the type of teacher, I'm going to get all of probably the most challenging students. I wouldn't say prefer them, but let's go. Let's grow together. Because it was a challenge many days in my career, but I loved it because I know these students were able to grow because we did this thing called life together. And that's what I'm here for. I want to grow intentionally, and I want to help the people that want to help themselves by finding spaces that allow them to grow, to nurture the seeds of love within. And that's what this platform is for. If you're new to our platform, new to this conversation, it is all about self-love. It's discipline. It's having the challenging conversations with self first, so that we can know how to have them with others, looking in the mirror, being honest about who we are. Is this going to help me? Is this going to hurt me? Or is this going to hinder me? And honey, the goal is to always help ourselves so that we can help others. I hope you found some insightful information in this conversation, because again, my goal is to grow. Let's continue to water our own souls one day at a time. Have a beautiful day.